对，多放。对，Masih yo dapat bagi bonding. Sama ya.
Greetings and a very good evening to fellow nocturnal knowledge seekers here on Zoom and those watching us on YouTube Live. Welcome to the Bats Appreciation webinar, unveiling the hidden wonders of bats conducted by One Health Student Club UPM. We are so glad to have all of you joining us today as we explore the fascinating world of bats and their importance in our ecosystems. Thank you for flying in to join us this Friday night. I'm Mirisha, your moderator for this evening. We are truly excited to explore the fascinating world of bats together with our esteemed speakers. So, before we begin, here are a few housekeeping rules to ensure a smooth session. First, please mute your microphone when the speakers are presenting to avoid any interruptions. Second, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. Our speakers will definitely address them during the Q&A session later. At the end of the webinar, a QR code for your e-certificates and university merit will be displayed. So, stay tuned until the end to claim them. To officially kick off our session, we would like now to invite Dr. Nur Indah binti Ahmad, advisor of the One Health Student Club UPM, to deliver a few words. Dr. Nur Indah, the floor is yours.
Hello, hi, thank you very much, Marisha. Hello, good evening, good day to everyone. Especially to the esteemed speakers, Professor Dr. Marina Mohamed. Hi, it's been a while since we met, and Dr. Juliana Snawi, we haven't met before. So this is the first time that we are connecting, and I really hope that this would be not just a one-time touch and go kind of like connection, but we would be hoping from this webinar with all of you here joining us as well, we will be serving like a platform to kickstart a whole new venture of collaboration, connection, and ideas flowing out in terms of how we could take it from here when we learn more about the hidden wonders of bats. So I really would like to take this opportunity to thank both speakers for, spending your TGIF moment together along with us, everyone here. And then also congratulations to the organizing committee for organizing this the webinar, which we hope will be really fruitful and lead to more connection and ideas. We talk about cross-sector collaboration that is very important in One Health perspective. So yeah, I would not steal more time from the show. So back to you, Marisha, and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nur Indah, for the inspiring opening. So before we move into our first session, let me introduce our two amazing speakers who will be sharing their expertise with us today. So the first speaker will be Associate Prof. Dr. Marina Muhammad Top alias Muhammad Ta, Director of the Center for Foundation Studies in Science, or known as Ohsc Putra, University Putra, Malaysia. She holds a PhD in zoology from UKM and a master's in reproductive biology. Specializes in wildlife ecology, biodiversity conservation, and habitat management. Her work focuses on small mammals, especially bats and anurans, studying their behavior, reproductive patterns, and habitat use. She is currently working on roosting habits, diet, and ectoparasites of insectivorous bats and strongly advocates for urban biodiversity and sustainable land use. For our second session, we'll have Dr. Juliana Senawi, a senior zoologist and bat ecologist with over 20 years of experience. She's the head of UKM's Langkawi Research Center and senior lecturer in zoology. She holds a PhD in bat ecology from Texas Tech University. Former wildlife research officer and has led national studies on elephants, bats, and herpetofauna. Her research covers bat morphology, ecological performance, evolutionary adaptations, and conservation. She has received multiple awards and led internationally funded research throughout Southeast Asia, representing Malaysia in global conservation efforts. We are truly fortunate to have these two distinguished experts with us today. So, let's begin our first session. Please welcome Associate Professor Dr. Marina.
Okay, thank you, Marisha. And then a great day to Dr. Indah and then Dr. Juliana. So here, I will sharing my slide by myself, yeah? Marisha? All right. Wait, can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, Doctor, we can.
Okay. All right. Oops. Wait. Wait, Okay. So, wait. What is it? All right, wait. Okay, wait. Can you give me a moment?
Yeah, sure, Doctor.
Yeah,
Take your
I
time.
tried. Okay, wait. I'm not sure why, but then I try again. Okay, I think this one is already okay. All right. Okay, good evening and salam sejahtera. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Dr. Marina, here from UPM and then from Asputra, as mentioned by Ms. Risha. So thank you again for everyone for joining us today on this little adventure into a world that many of us hardly see or hear, yeah, which is the bats, right? Because they are nocturnal, hardly seen. So they with their own world. So together today, let's uncover how the hidden homes and silent lives of bats can teach us a powerful lesson about nature, health, and also coexistence. Yeah. All right. So let's start with a question. So when do you think about bats? What actually comes to your mind? Most people actually imagine bats always flying at night, right? But actually, bats, they spend more their life or half of their lives at their roost. Okay, so they roost whether in caves, yeah, trees or hidden foliage. And then the roost is very important or essential for their survival, for their breeding, and also social life as us. Yeah, we also have our social life, right, with our friends, also them. Yeah, and when we actually disturb these rules, we actually aren't just disturbing the bats, okay? But we also risk disturbing the delicate ecological systems, okay? And when I like to mention here also is we go to the view of One Health, where when we protect the bats' roost, it actually means we also protecting the interconnected human and also animals and the environmental health. Yeah. Okay. So now, let's celebrate something amazing about our country, Malaysia. Because we are very lucky. We have over 125 species of bats. We're making Malaysia one of the richest bat regions in Southeast Asia. Okay. In UPM itself, I've recorded 36 species, of bats, this one recorded in UPM Serdang campus, UPM Bintulu Sarawak campus, and also our forest ASFR or Air Hitam Forest Reserve. So here are the list, the picture, the image of the bats that we have recorded. And then, so where actually do the Malaysian bats lives? Where do Malaysian bats lives? So they actually lives, some of them hide in very deep caves. Others clings on the leaves, or also they nest inside some of tree hollows. So each species of bats actually plays a very important role. Sometimes we are not really know about the roles of the bats, right? Because they are hardly seen, they are nocturnal. And then actually, I would like to emphasize here, highlight here, bats actually are a very good pollinators. So how many of you like to eat durian? Durians. So bats are pollinator of the durians, and also petai, okay? And they are also disperse seed that help to rebuild our forest. Okay. Many of the bats also are pest controllers. They save our crops and also protect the farm's animals. And then best biodiversity is actually not just about the numbers here. It is about the ecological resilience. So when we lose bats, actually we also risk losing the balance of our ecosystem. Okay. All right. So yeah, I prepared for you today is a short video here. Let me try to open it. Okay. So feeding frenzy. Can you see that? That's bats feeding the termite swarmers around our campus, UPM campus, nearby the KTEX college, the second KTEX college. So you can see there, it's actually the bats roaming around. They are feeding the termite swarmers. So this is at night. So you see nobody on the road. All right. So yeah. And then yes, this is about the observing bats behavior. So have any one of you actually seen a bat grooming itself? Please, you can Google also, you can search bats, how bats grooming itself. Okay, this also a video I prepared for all of you to see. This is a baby hip sugo macrotis. Actually, I try to I saved these little bats, because it's fallen from the roost, the roots. So I managed to kept the bats for 3 weeks. But then after that, sadly, these bats cannot survive. Okay, so if you see here, I replay. Wait. Oh, I cannot replay. Okay, you see how it leaks the wing membrane, right? This is how actually it's groomed. Usually, the baby or juvenile bats, the baby bats with the mother will lick the fur, right? So because these baby bats by itself, so it's groom itself. Okay. All right. So if you go inside the caves also, actually, if you very clearly try to listen the sound in the cave, right? You actually can also hear the soft chirps of the bats. So this behavior of the bats actually for during the grooming activities or vocalizations, vocalizing with their members in the groups, during the activities of grooming also, they will producing some kind of this kind of what we call the sounds of the bats itself. Actually, they are communicating from one to another bats. So they also can tell us about the health, the stress level, okay, and also the social structure of bats in the colonies. Okay, so the behavioral study of the bats actually can give us or predict about how the bats can respond to the environmental change. And also from there, it can help us, especially for the researchers, to design a better conservation actions. And then from this, it can help to conserve the bats in the natural environments, in their natural environments. Okay. All right. So now, about the reproduction and roost choice, imagine this one, it shows you, this is a picture of a species Natalus mexicanus in their maternity roost. You can see the pinkish baby. It's not have yet the fur. The fur is not yet grown. You can see here, this is actually all the pups. And then they have an adults here. This is some kind of the guardians that taking care of the pups during the mothers foraging for food, and then they take in charge in taking care of the babies. So now, can you imagine if you be a bat's mother? Actually, bats, they give birth to 1 or 2 pups a year only. Okay, it's very low numbers of offsprings. So as I mentioned, if we imagine that we are a bat's mother, so we need a warm, quiet, safe place to raise our baby. Risha, you agree with me?
Yes, doctor, absolutely.
Yeah, right. So that's the mother have to do, right? So what if your nursery or your house or your home, your maternity roost is disturbed? Disturbed by the noise, by the lights, or human presence. This maybe force you to abandon your pup, makes you go to another place, because you have to abandon the pup. It's easier for you, might be, to take care of yourself. It might be happen like that. So because bats reproduce slowly, and then every loss is actually devastating. That's why when we see here, when we see the roosting site, especially with the pups or babies, we call it maternity roost, is very important for the mothers. And then the maternity roost is actually sacred, very important for ensuring the next generation survives. So please, if you enter a cave, right, and you see so many pups there, actually, please do not disturb the area. Okay. All right, next, this one, I focus about the threats to the natural roost for the bats. Sadly, actually, the biggest threats for bats today come from us, the human being. This is actually well known already, but then human, they don't want to admit it, right? Okay, so when we say about humans, so it relates to the all activities of humans, to the forest, to the natural roost of the bats. For example, the tree we cut, deforestation. We cut the tree also can impact the bats and the roost itself. The cave, if we flirt with the tourists, so every day, so many people come into the cave to see the bats, to see the cave structure. Might be it also can influence the bats itself, all right? And sometimes it's referring to the development, residential area, when we construct the building. And then sometimes when this happen, it can remove the precious roosting sites of the bats. Okay, and then when the bats lose their homes, sometimes it can cause the bats to stress. Okay, and then when the bats stress, you see, it actually can risk of the disease spillover as the COVID-19, right? They relate it with the forest bats, where the history said that it might be caused by the bats, right? But it's not proven yet, okay? So once again, if I want to connect it to One Health concern, One Health actually reminds us, what happens to bats can happen back to us. All right, okay? So, okay, now, so how actually, all right, oops, okay, it's okay, I cannot pause it. Yeah, please, we watch this first. This is a bat's roost, Yeah. So, I hope that everyone can see the bats coming out from the that palm, the dead leaves of the palm, and then that one is Hypsugomacrotis. Okay, now, so how actually we can coexist peacefully with bats? This is a very great question, right? So first of all, please respect their roosting sites. Please, everyone here, respect the roosting sites. If you visit caves, please minimize the noise, the lights also. And then if you know that certain trees have bats inside there, please also do not disturb the leaves, disturb the trees, okay? Secondly, please share knowledge. Helps dispel the myth that bats are dangerous. Sometimes because during the young age, right? We we watch Dracula's, right? All related with bats, right? So all of these actually give bats impacts of the bats, but actually bats give a lot of good impact to our ecosystem, all right? Okay, the third one is actually support conservation efforts. So every tree preserved, every caves we protect, all right? And then strengthen, not this effort is actually not strengthen the bats population, but also again, it also protect the ecosystem and benefit to us as a human being. Okay, all right. Now, these are all the compilation of the bats roosting in a tree. So first here, I'm not sure whether you can see my cursor pointing. No, you are not seeing my cursor. Risha, cannot? It's okay.
Actually, we can't really see, doctor, but maybe you can address the first picture, like on the left or right. It can be.
Okay. All right. The first picture here shown the Myotis muricula on the left, right, in the banana leaves. This Myotis muricula is the banana bats. They live inside the young leaves, young fur leaves of banana. Okay, you can see right here clearly. All right, next one is actually the Cyanotrus brachiotis, the fruit bats. Yeah, they live under the palm leaves where they mix like a tent. So this one also nearby the one of the building in Asasi, in center in our foundation center. And then this at the below, okay, you see the Scotophilus coolii, the bats here, that's showing under the dried leaves of the palms, all right? Okay, and this also a tree in front of the Asasi, in front of the building of the center, foundation center, all right? So actually, when we see the bats use these trees, so we do not disturb the trees, the trees is not pruned, the leaves is just leave like that, okay? We don't want to disturb the roosting roosting side of the bats, so it's just be like that. But the rest of the palm tree, yes, we prune it. Okay, so the fourth picture here showing that I'm showing the two species, Cynopterus brachiotis and Scotophilus coolii. These both species actually they can coexist in one tree. So they also need neighbors, I think. Yeah? Need neighbors. Different species, but then they can tolerate each other. Very beautiful life of the bats. All right, next. This one is actually showing the Myotis muricula, when which I said to you that it lives in the banana leaves. Okay, hopefully that you can detect the bats inside the leaves, right? Can you see that? It moving? Yes, that one. It's moving. Okay. Risha, can you see that bats moving inside the
Yes,
leaf?
doctor. Actually, yeah, it's quite amazing to see the bats moving inside the banana leaves.
Yeah.
It's a
So
very info for us.
yeah, very actually that's not so many people know, us know about these bats that can live inside the banana leaves, the young furl banana leaves. Yeah, okay. All right, next one. Okay, this one. This video shows the Pipistrellus javanicus. We found it lives in the tile, under the roof, okay? But then we try to we use the camera, we sneak it inside the hole there, and then this is the video that we have taken. hopefully you enjoy the video with the sound effect. Okay. That one is very small bats actually, yeah. Small bats. This is the bats, yeah. This is the bats. This is the bats, yeah. Okay. Okay, now next slides. All right. So I truly believe actually that the future of bats conservation lies with the young minds among us, among you all. So students, researchers and nature lovers, actually you can make a difference. You can make a difference, whether through participating in simple field survey, monitoring bat calls, okay, involved with the activities, researchers activities, or also you can just sharing scientific facts about bats online, in social media. All right. So actually your voice is very important. Okay. And then this actually can promote the non-invasive research and habitat protection initiative, to all outside there. Okay. And then each act of this advocacy protects not just only the bats, okay, but the beauty and balance of the natural world for generation to come. Okay, so please I encourage everyone here, be the voice of the wild. Okay, be the voice of the bats. All right, and then widely spread the roles, the beneficial that bats can give us, as a protector for our crops, for our farm animals, they are great pollinators, so please, please be the voice of the bats, and then I now in my last slide, okay, I think I would like to thank so much for everyone to join, that able to join, exploring with me the hidden world of the bats, and I would like to leave all of you with the thoughts of take-home message, the quieter we become, the more we can hear, even the lives unfolding in the shadow. So that's all from me. Risha, thank you so much for listening, and then I give back to Risha. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Doctor.
Welcome.
Actually, that information was extremely fascinating and informative presentation for us. Tonight, you've given us a deeper understanding of the delicate balance bats require to thrive, particularly species like Natalis mexicanus mentioned by Prof. Marina, which produce only 1 to 2 offspring per year. So this low reproductive rate means that every birth counts, making it absolutely crucial for bats to have access to safe, warm, undisturbed roosting sites to raise their young successfully. We've also learned how even seemingly minor human activities such as noise pollution, artificial lighting, and frequent human disturbances, which can severely disrupt bat populations by making their roost unsafe or unusable. These pressures combined with habitat fragmentation to create a dangerous environment for bat survival, particularly for species already sensitive to environmental changes. Dr. Marina, your insights into roost conservation were especially impactful and meaningful to us. Natural roosts like caves, hollow trees, and old structures are under threat from urban development, deforestation, and unsustainable land use practice. As these habitats disappear or become degraded, so too does the future of the bats that rely on them. You've shown us that conservation doesn't just mean protecting the animals themselves, but it also means protecting the spaces they depend on. Thank you once again, Associate Prof. Dr. Marina, for highlighting the urgent need for awareness, protection, and coexistence, especially as we look for ways to harmonize development with biodiversity conservation. Your work is a powerful call to action for all of us. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so
Now,
much also, Risha. And then I would like to also acknowledge, thank you so much to Said Marwan. He actually my son. He loves to draw, and then he drew me these two very cute illustration on these two species. That one is Tapozoas melanopogon and also Tapozoas longimanus. So for that, I say a great appreciation to my son, Said Marwan, and also all of you that joined today. Thank you so much again.
thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Just like bats navigate the dark with precision, our understanding of their role in nature just became much clearer after Dr. Marina's sharing. So, let's swing it smoothly into the second session now. Let's welcome Dr. Juliana. Doctor, the stage is yours. Please welcome.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear my voice?
Yes, Doctor, we can hear.
All right. So to begin my talk, probably I need to share my screen, but I think you need to close yours first before I can do mine. All right. So thank you, moderator, for a very impressive introduction. Let me see. Okay, can you see my slide now?
Yes, Doctor, we can see it. Maybe you can present it in the presenter mode.
Yeah, I will do that. But before that, I just in case, I have no idea how to switch off my video. Just in case it's become like a slower or heavier, just help me to turn off my video anyway. But anyway, so thank you very much for inviting me. So today, with the let me escape. I'm sorry, I tried to. Okay. Hopefully, you're able to see my screen better. Okay. So the title for today, for the Bat Appreciation webinar, I will be talking about more about the contribution of bats. So I hope after the end of the talk, and also the information given by Dr. Marina, you probably have some kind of understanding, and you can actually see it by yourself with the you can consider bat as our ecosystem hero, or is or probably the zoonotic disease, zoonotic valence in this case. All right. So as mentioned earlier, I only work with bats. I mean, previously I do work with other animal as well. But once I joined the university, I work solidly in bats. So one particular interest and probably relevant to the club, to your student club today, which is the One Health Student Club. I also a member of the Bat One Health Research Network. So if anyone interested in looking at the Bat Network, I mean on the One Health of the Bat Network, yeah, we can probably discuss about that. All right, of course, you already have, I mean, Dr. Marina already give you introduction about bats. And by now, you probably know like how awesome is the bats and so on. But do you really know what is what actually a bat? Anyone can give a brief answer? What is bats?
Bat is, according to my understanding, they're actually nocturnal animals.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is partially true. Bat is nocturnal, which is the active at night. A lot of other animals active at night as well, but bats is actually, of course, you hear this, but bats actually is mammal. So why I emphasize this is because at the end, we need to see the relation and in the One Health perspective, because we also as a human, we are mammals. So mammals represent by more than 6,000 species. And we do have mammals that lay eggs, the mammals, which is a monoterms, and the marsupial, which is the mammals that have a pouch, and also the placental mammal, which is like mammals that give birth. So when you look at the bat, so how we can consider bats as a mammals, because as you see, bats are able to like fly and stuff and so on. And when you look at the characteristic, so one of the particular interesting is because of the fur. So all mammal have fur. Of course, they said like, oh, because they give birth to the live young. But not all, as mentioned earlier, if you look at the group of mammals, so some mammals actually lay eggs, yeah? So of course, but what is the similar is they all actually nurse their young. So it's a lot of characteristic that you can look at it and you can you actually able to classify that as a class of mammal. Bat is a class of mammals. And in the class of mammals, we know that bats is under order Chiroptera, which is hand wing. So that is one of the reason why bats actually flying. And with that, it's become one of the unique character of bats. So bats is the only mammals that that able to fly. So why the locomotion and the how they actually distribute is really important, is because flying cover much more diverse area compared to we like just walking around. They can go further, far away. I mean, the distribution wise, they cover a lot of separate spread wider area. And that also related to our understanding in their ecology and how later on we can relate this with the One Health and the zoonotic disease. Of course, if you look of other animals, which is in the case, we know that bats is a mammals and the vertebrate that have a backbone. And when we look at these, all the vertebrate animals that can fly, we only have birds and bats that actually truly fly. And we also probably ancient Pterosaurus, which is a reptile, kind of reptile. So here, the vertebrate that can actually fly is probably reptile, which is already extinct, bird, and the bats. All right. So this is the animal that might be have the widespread of an area. So of course, in Malaysia, when we look at our country, we have a lot of things that fly. So most of it is actually it's not flying, even though we call like a flying lizard, flying frogs, all flying, but they actually only gliding. So the magnitude of the how they can cover with their locomotion is much more smaller to the animal that actually able to generate a powered flight like a bat. So in this case, of course, surprisingly, we do have a snake that actually fly as well. And we have this colugo, which is also fly as well, the flying lemur, which both of them is wrongly identified, which we don't have a lemur. And also, they not fly, they're just gliding, all right? So that's the unique stuff about bats, why they can fly. Another unique character of the bats is they actually not only see the surrounding by eyes, they also actually see it by ears. What that means, because they use the echolocation. So they navigate by interpreting the bounce back of the wave using the ears. So how awesome is that? So meaning like they just like say something and they can definitely identify people right in front of them, what is in front of them, and they can like basically see it through those sounds, right? So, and for bats, the sounds that they produce, or we call it echolocation, it's really unique. And that also gives the diversity of the call that they produce. And in South Asia region, we have 75% of our bats that can actually echolocate. And for Malaysia, we have around 80% of our bats actually see everything through their ears. And this is much more efficient. They do have their eyes and also the ears to actually see around them, right? And this unique character is not only bats that using it, but the echolocation on bats is much more advanced, because they're able to actually generate the power to the very high, the ultrasonic, that we cannot see. So in this case, there is like, for example, who using it, like a dolphin is also using the echolocation. Of course, a group of bats with really high frequency, and also some of the birds. And all these actually all the knowledge of the echolocation actually used by the blind people as well. That they use the tongue clicking, which is used by the fruit bats, the bats that actually not that echolocate, but they use the tongue clicking to make sound wave. And actually human imitate that in order to actually able to see it using the ears. So if you practice, if you do your tongue clicking, you actually able to see in front of you using your ears. How awesome is that? So we have, as a human, we have the ability to hear some of the ultrasonic sounds, but our sounds, what we hear is only probably really low frequency. So less than 20 kilohertz usually what we can hear. But because of like some, I mean, especially for male, they only can hear up to 20. And like for us, women, we were able to see like up to 23 or 25 kilohertz. So a woman is much more sensitive. So if you like discussing with your colleague, or if you fellow member of your club, if a guy cannot hear you properly, it's because they designed that way. All right. All right, so how many bats species been described in the world? So to date, we have around 1,500. I mean, close to 1,500 bats that been described. So here we have taxonomists, Nancy Seaman, the one that published the Mammal of the World, that keep updating the bats taxonomy. And you can actually, if you're interested in knowing more about the bat species of the world, you can explore at the website called batname.org. All right, so of course, we do have that much. So if we go to our region, it's only looking at our region. So how much that we have? So throughout the South Asia, we have about 384. And for us, we have about close to half of it. I mean, able to like find it here in Malaysia, even though we have like a tiny area. So I mean, of course, the highest area with the bat species will be Indonesia, because of the land mass and how the bioregion and ecoregion that separate them. So it's not surprising that But for bats, for the update, we do have, this is some of the example of the faces that bats here in Malaysia. Of course, you've seen already before from Dr. Marina, but this is some others that the unique, the diversity of the faces of the bats that we have, some of those. So we have more. So they are really interesting. It's not only the diversity of the faces of the bats, and also they have a different diversity of the sizes as well. Here, but in Malaysia, we do have the smallest one around 2 grams. So of course, the smallest one is in Thailand. We always like fight with Thailand. Thailand have one like 1.5 gram, which is sometime our Caribula minuta, which is the smallest forest bird. Also like, at the same weight with that. But anyway, the range just a little bit bigger. But anyway, so we do have the bat that's 2 gram, and also bats that like up to 1,500 gram, which is like flying fox. This is how the diversity. So in between, that is in between. So we have a lot of different sizes, but most of the bats are small, like less than 200 gram, most of our bats, right? And because of bats, because they are, as mentioned earlier, because they are fly, and also they are nocturnal animal. So they have become a really important to the ecosystem, especially to pollinate lot of our plant. So especially the plant that probably bloom at night. All right. So anyone recognize what flower is this bat pollinating? Anyone recognize? So this is actually a petai flower, or you can see basically it's either or the bitter bean. Look at this. So how is important if you wanna like emphasize? It's difficult because like the ecosystem services for bats, it's difficult for us to actually address because we couldn't see that directly. But anyhow, we can actually convert that into the monetary. So we probably can a little bit appreciate. So this is one of the like early study in Kelangberry area, which is during that time, the Batu Cave. If anyone been in the Batu Cave before, there is a dark cave in the Batu Cave, which is a cave housing a million of fruit bats. And that is a pollinator, one of the main pollinator of the bitter bean. And how much that we get in a year for the Klang Valley and contribute by that dark cave alone is actually around 11.3 million per ringgit per year. That is the revenue from this pollination. And of course, as mentioned earlier by Dr. Marina as well, they also the main pollinator of durian. So in this case, looking at the Klang Valley alone, also we get around 6 million ringgit per year. So I also get a lot of questions from people. So is it true? Like how the experiment been done and how do they estimate? So that is the experiment, the enclosure experiment that look at how, the comparison between the manual pollination, which is you do it by yourself, and also the effectiveness of insect pollinator with the bats pollination. And surprisingly, the contribution, more than 80% of the fruit actually, the flower actually pollinate by bats for those. So that's why they are the main pollinators. And the flower is only bloom at night as well. So this is others plant, our plant that also been contributed pollinate by our bats. Other than they are become a pollinator, they are also a seeds dispersal. Of course, bats have really small trachea, so they actually only swallow the juice and spit out the fiber together with the seed. So that's why when they spit it out, they become a good seed dispersal and also potential of human conflict. Probably you see a lot of building that have that speed. Most of people thought it's a bad dropping, but actually the wall is not the dropping, but actually the speed from the bats. And also most of the bats, which is the 80% of our bats, eating insects. So we do have about 20% that eat plant visiting bats, which is either eat fruits, eat nectar, and become all those contribution to ecosystem. And also the biggest group is the insect, which is it become the insect regulator. We know that it become helping in not only controlling the population of the insect, and also by that it also controlling the pest the pest to the agriculture as well as a vector as well. So before the health ministry or the CDC find the solution for malaria, they actually use a bat as a vector control for malaria. So this is because bats actually eat a lot at one night. They can eat up to the 80% or if not 100% of the body weight. So of course, as mentioned, most of the bats is less than 50 gram, 15 gram, 20 gram. So it's really small, but they live in the big colony. So, and they eat a lot. So probably you will like not believe me, like, how can you eat like, up to 80%, up to 100% of your body? So that actually is because of they actually flying. So they need quick energy. So they actually not process the food thoroughly. They just eat, get the energy, and chuck it out. So basically, that have really short intestine. Because they need to fly, and a lot of the the bat dropping is not actually well digested. So that's why in the ecosystem, especially in the cave ecosystem, if the bat is not there, the ecosystem of the cave is dead. It's because bats actually contribute to the undigested food for all the decomposer inside the cave, which invite all the microbe and all the other organisms that need to digest those. So that is how the cycle in the cave. Without that, at the beginning, the cave will have no other means to actually to keep alive or to keep all other organisms alive. So of course, with bats actually behavior and also their ecology, they also invite some of the bats human conflict, and of course, with some of the knowledge of their ecology as well, we actually probably can use some of the knowledge of the roosting ecology, as mentioned earlier, as a mitigation for this bat human conflict. So one of the example is the bat house. This is one of the bat house here in my university at UKM, which is we built it to try to navigate the problem that we have with the conflict that we have with the fruit bats that roosting at one of our palace, so-called the show palace. So of course, in our in the daily life, it's a lot. It's not only like the ecology and the behavior and also the contribution to ecosystem that actually relate to us. We also have a lot of element of culture that have influenced by the bat existence. So our existence with the bat, whether as a culture or a contribution to our ecosystem, is there from really long time. So of course, over the over the years, our from the land use and modernization, there is a lot of changes happen. So with all these changes, one of what our concern is the interaction between animal and the people. So when the urbanization become like really normalized right now, so the interaction between animals and human is also higher compared to before. So in this case, the zoonotic disease basically is a disease that that spread between animals and peoples. When we look at this zoonotic viral richness, if you look at it, so it's actually equal to the species richness of the animal itself. So, for example, as mentioned earlier, Chiroptera is a bat. So compared to the rodent, which is the Rodentia group order. So in these two order of mammal, so basically Rodentia is the higher. So all the rats group and so on, compared to the bats. So of course, when we look at the number of the zoonotic disease, the number of the zoonotic disease in rodent is much more higher because the species richness of the rodent compared to Chiroptera is much more higher in rodent to the Chiroptera. However, if we look at the proportion of the zoonotic disease between the rodent and the Chiroptera, is actually about the same, about the half of the zoonotic disease actually carried by bats and rats. So when we talk about this zoonotic disease, so 60% of the human disease have the zoonotic origin. So meaning it's transmitted from animal. When we talk about like all the disease that you know, like rabies or influenza or Ebola or SARS, is actually origin from animal itself. So and from that, 75% actually originated from the wildlife species. So it's a lot. 75 is a lot. So other than that, probably from the domestic animals or from your pets and so on. But in this case, we can see how the wildlife will actually carry the biggest portion of this zoonotic disease that we discussed. The one that we concern is the emergence of the infectious disease. As we go through, we've been past, a lot of the situation before. So what is alarming is throughout the year, we can see the emergence of the infectious disease. It's become much more compared to the previous years that we have. So in the early or late 80s, we can see we probably like in between 80s and 90s, we only have like one or two emergent. However, when you look at on the past 16 years, the emergence of the infectious disease is much more like frequent compared to what happened before. So we can see the outbreak, the pandemic, and so on. So with that knowledge of the pandemic and also the outbreak and this the spillover, we also predict the potential, the possible potential, which is for now we probably like need to live with it, and like this is why, because all this separation of the separate of the how this disease spread is because of our behavior as well. So we actually the one that open up this opportunity of the interaction and to actually become one of the probably one of the mediator for this the global spread of the zoonotic disease. So one of the driver that really significant is probably you hear about the Anthropocene, which is the term that used when actually human is taking over the time. This is the period when human actually taking over, and most of our activity is actually benefit to us compared to other life form on Earth. So this era, when we actually dominate this activity, that all we did is we actually changing the era into what we call the Anthropocene, which is I mean, if you look at the geological time scale, we actually reaching that when we actually become the dominant of changing the timeline. All right, so this how we do that. So this is from all our activities. So all this land use change that we did and the agriculture that we do. So all this actually contribute to that promote this disease. If you look at this the whole probably in this is the whole area. If you look at our country alone, so here I mean this green color this green color is number 8, for example. This is like a natural forest, and the rest is actually kind of the agriculture kind of thing. So we have lack of that, you know, this color. So meaning like most of our area is already our land. We actually we as human, we use a lot of land. All right. So of course, like mentioned earlier, we only walking, it's not flying. So even though we are only walking on Earth, we actually use a lot of land. All right. So this all the land use change. Actually, when we change the, I mean, we have the relationship between the land use change with the risk of the virus emergence. Right. So as when it become the land become more and more change to probably urbanization. So the chances for us to get the emergent, it's really is a even though at the end the diversity of the species might be become lower, and as mentioned earlier, because of the diversity also have a relationship with the number of the zoonotic that they can have. Probably at the end, when all the landscape change to the like urban landscape, they're probably low in terms of wildlife. So also the low the transmission as well. But by that time, most of the animal will be extinct, and that case is not about the emergent that we will worried about. Then we won't have the ecosystem services provided by them will be gone as well during that time. And we probably need to work on in giving ourselves like how we need to think how to get the ecosystem services to provide the ecosystem services to ourselves as well. And it's not only the land use change and the agriculture with the number of people as well. But I mean the food that come from them, the bushmeat also contribute, even though it's not many. Of course, the bushmeat actually promote the disease emergence as well. So in some of the area, there is still bush market. In Malaysia, we do have, especially in the Borneo part, we still have the bushmeat market. I mean, in other part of the world, this is example from Sulawesi. They also, I mean, they have like a exotic food that still in the menu, even though like you know, a lot of a lot of warning and stuff about like the emergence of the new species. I mean, new emergence of the new zoonotic disease. But I mean, even though we go through a pandemic, few pandemic that probably caused by the zoonotic disease, but still, people still actually eat the bushmeat, and also especially bats is still on their menu. Of course, I mean, before the experience that we have with COVID, the coronavirus. So of course, it's there before, but the virus actually towards at the in the year, it's become different variants, and a lot of differences as well. Of course, you will hear MERS, I mean the different kind of the coronavirus infection that's severe. We have MERS, we have SARS before, if you remember, or COVID as well. That definitely remember, but all is actually from the corona. So if you look at this coronavirus, we only look at one, the coronavirus, as before. We mentioned probably the proportion of the, like how much that the disease that bats probably able to carry is about half of it. So in this case, if you look at it, so for the coronavirus, a lot of the human coronavirus is origin from bats. Of course, it's not only the corona, there is also Hendra, Ebola, and rabies, which is bad, actually irreversible of all these viruses as well. So why bats is really a good reservoir for all these kind of viruses? It's because bats actually have a long lifespan. So in a while, bat can live, even though they are really small, they can live up to 30 years. And also because of their ability of fly, so they have a potential for long dispersal. It's not only to disperse the seed, and also disperse the possible of connection of those viruses as well. And they usually live in the big colony, so they have like, you know, to each other. And also bats have a high species diversity as well. So if you look at the of this relation between the species richness and the zoonotic disease, for the bats is around 20% of the known zoonotic disease in mammals is in bats. I mean, we can compare it to like a rodent, so it's like 40%, like more than half actually in rodent, in like rats and stuff. But of course, like people more worried about like being I mean bats as the zoonotic disease being established more rather than like a rodent, for example, rats. All right. So this is the fact. So even though it's only 20% compared to 40, but bats always get the blame anyway. So but actually, even though they get a blame, but bats actually is better adapter and resistant to the infection. So basically, it's more tolerate. So meaning like if bats actually I mean they become a host and they not get infected. I mean compared to actually to rodent. So that's why I mean I can see like how they actually blaming the bats, because they can like live longer, so and can sustain the virus for a long time, even though it's not them that try to spread them. It's only I mean in this case I don't know why we actually discussing about like the bats, the fall of the bat. Bats, that is the misunderstanding, the taboo, saying that the bats actually spread all the zoonotic disease, but they just actually a reservoir for this all of the genetic disease. So we need to blame the virus itself instead of blame the bats, right? All right, so and usually the transmission of the bat, if that the bat is the host, and when we talk about the transmission to human, it's usually via the intermediate host, so often to the livestock and so on. So that is in the case of example that we know, like for example, the MERS COVID. So how it actually got transferred to human is probably the coronavirus, the MERS COVID that actually get to the camel, and the camel actually get to the people, and that is how the virus actually transmit. So, and the case of the transmission of the MERS, this is how like the urbanization, like the become like a human can become like a global because of our traveling and so on. That's the thing that we probably like get all those the diseases from our action as well. First we change the landscape, get the disease because we are like close to them, and then now we are advanced, we able to travel around the world with the technology by bird or by ship or by plane and so on. That actually contribute more to the separation of the disease itself. So in the case of the COVID-19, of course, you remember like people keep dying and so on, and really like alarming. People looking at the to look at it. Of course, it's actually based on the intermediate host as well. But however, we're not able to find, until like now, we're not able to find a lot of speculation saying that it's from the pangolin, it's from the frozen fish and so on. But it's actually all speculate from now, until today. We don't really know what's actually going on. The one that we know, it's a bat is one of the reservoir for the COVID virus, but for the disease. But anyway, the when we talk about this, what we can look at the pandemic and so on, and the spillover and so on, like when we look at it, there is no simple solution to prevent this zoonotic outbreak. But realize that our health, it's depend on the health of the well-being of the wildlife and their habitat, and the habitat, it's actually really important. And by the all the information that that given. Anyway, so here it's before COVID, we do have the outbreak here from Nipah, the Nipah outbreak, if any of you remember. So before, we do have the outbreak from Nipah virus. So what we learn from this Nipah virus outbreak. So in our country, the mortality rate is really high. The mortality rate of the Nipah outbreak is really high. It's around 40 to 75. So here, in the case of the Nipah virus outbreak in Malaysia, so it actually happened in 1999, which is it actually also caused by outbreak in the respiratory and neurological disease, which actually in pig and also in human as well, which is we call it encephalitis, which is the before we known as JE and so on. So all this, it's actually if we look at it, So it actually happened first, actually identified here in Malaysia. And if you look at it, our mortality rate is around 40%. And later on, it also recognized in other country as well, especially in the Bangladesh and in Indonesia, in India, which is in the case of in India and the Bangladesh, the mortality rate is really high, is up to 100%. So many, meaning that anyone that get this Nipah virus, the potential for them to survive, I mean, the chances for them to survive is almost zero. So, but in Malaysia, the mortality rate is less than half. So meaning like we still have around 60% if you get infected by Nipah virus, survive. One of what we learned from Nipah virus in Malaysia, the transmission actually is not direct transmission. What they predicted is the bats actually eat the fruits, and the fruits drop in the pan of the pig, and the pig eat them, and the human eat them. So this is how they actually make the prediction. However, we're not able to actually see, I mean, the direct connection with those as well. So in the case of in Bangladesh and in India, the outbreak, so also and that's the same prediction that they mentioned. However, over there, they do eat, they drink the raw palm date juice, and which actually they collected directly, and actually using the like the bucket. So in this case of the infectious disease, actually is really alarming. And what we did is, I mean, as a group of Bad One Health Network, is actually looking into it. The Bad One Health Network, looking into it and look at like how the transmission happened. And the possibility of this transmission of the Nipah is three types, whether bat to human human transmission, which is it's directly get the virus from the bat itself, or also from the human from the animal to the human transmission. So meaning like probably there is the intermediate animals that get sick from that virus, and we probably handling it, or we eat it. So that is how it gets transmitted. Or also human to human transmission. So meaning like when the human already get infected and they can transfer to human as well. So when we look at it, so in the case of Nipah virus, what we can learn, it's of course in the case of in Malaysia, we only, I mean, the evidence that we have, it's through the intermediate. There is no evidence that we have the direct human to bats contact. So in this case, when we look at the case in Bangladesh and the India, when they collect the palm juice, the sap is to make a raw juice. It's actually, they don't actually, the collector bottle is not actually have a lid. So bat actually go and actually drink it. So and that is how they get transmission, like how they get direct transmission evidence. And in this case, what they can do is, I mean, what we suggest, and it's efficient, we just need to put a lid. So prevent bats from going in and get the saliva in and get the direct transmission. So in that case, yeah, we help to solve the problem. So in order for us to actually work as a one health, we actually it's a best for us to actually work together. especially to understand the ecology of the zoonotic disease at the human-animals interface within the element in the complex. I mean, in the environment, which is we know is really complex. So we need to actually work together. So as we know before, when we look at the change because of the land use change, the thing that we change in the environment in this era, in the Anthropocene era, so it's the best for us to stay left of the bloom. So meaning like get far away from the interaction to all those animals as much as possible. So because if you look at the cases of the emergent disease and the outbreak that we're talking all this along, because we are for so many years, we actually focus solidly responding to the outbreak. So the thing is, what we should do is we actually try to, the best for us to try to avoid it rather than try to actually respond to the outbreak as well. So basically, prevention is much more better than the cure itself. So with that, all the information, so it's up to you whether you still thought that as a hero or is a villain in the case of the zoonotic disease. So with that, I would like to thank the One Health Student Club, UPM, for inviting me, and I open for any question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Juliana, for that captivating and knowledge-packed session. Tonight, you've guided us through a remarkable journey into the biology, behavior, and ecological significance of bats, which is the only mammals capable of true flight. As members of the order Chiroptera, bats possess an extraordinary range of adaptations that allow them to thrive in environments that many other mammals cannot. One of the most fascinating features we learned about is echolocation, where bats emit sound waves and interpret the echoes that bounce back through their ears to navigate and hunt in total darkness. This biological sonar system highlights just how highly evolved and precise these creatures are. So with around approximately 1,500 bats play essential roles in our ecosystems. They are pollinators for nocturnal plants and contributing to the reproduction of many important flora. And beyond pollination, they are also natural pest controllers, assuming massive quantities of insects, including mosquitoes, which are vectors for diseases like malaria. It's astonishing to hear that some bats can consume 80 to 100% of their body weight in just one night. So despite their small size, bats often live in large colonies, as mentioned by Dr. Juliana. And because flight is energy intensive, they have short intestines to aid in fast digestion and quick energy use. Interestingly, their droppings are not fully digested and end up serving as the foundation for entire cave ecosystems, supporting a variety of microbes and invertebrates that depend on their droppings as a food source. So Dr. Juliana also highlighted the real-world examples of how we can use roosting ecology as a tool for conflict mitigation. Her work on bat houses at UKM and even addressing roosting fruit bats at a palace shows how understanding bat behavior can help humans coexist peacefully with them rather than viewing them as pests. So what resonates most is how bats are woven into our daily lives. And even if we don't see them always, their behavior and ecological roles interact with our health, food systems, and environment. And even our culture and perceptions shape how we interact with them. So this session was a wonderful reminder that conservation is not only about science, but also about understanding and empathy. Thank you once again, Dr. Juliana, for your passion and dedication to bat conservation and helping us to see these often misunderstood creatures in a completely new light. Thank you so much. Now, without further delay, Let's keep the sauna of curiosity going as we move into the discussion and Q&A session. We will now open the floor for our Q&A session. Please feel free to type your answers in the question chat box, whether you're on Zoom or watching via YouTube Live. We'll try to get as many questions as possible, and our speakers are ready to fly deep into your queries. So let's get those questions fluttering in. Doctor, we have a question from the YouTube live actually. So since Nipah virus is associated with fruit bats, flying foxes is also bats, right? So is it scientific? How to clarify this scientifically? Like, is it a disposal for Nipah virus?
Regarding the Nipah virus, so yes, I mean the first question, the flying foxes. So the flying foxes, we do have like a big flying foxes is basically here it's known as keluang, or the biggest fruit bats. So yeah, the prediction before is the fruit eating bats that actually transmit the virus that they host to the intermediate host, which is in our case for the Nipah virus is actually the pig. And like when pig get infected and people actually eat a pig, that is how they get transmitted. So, however, whether we actually have the evidence, like the solid evidence that actually happened, the scientists here in Malaysia is not able to actually provide that information. It's because there is no direct evidence on that's actually being happened. They just the prediction. Why they make that prediction is because the type of virus that actually in the Nipah virus it's also found in bats. That is actually what's happening. So if you're asking whether the fruit bats that we have here right now is exposing us to other potential of the outbreak of Nipah virus, from the information of the prediction, probably yes. But the risk, like how, like whether that probably the high risk, that probably we don't know. The possibility of the transmission from directly from the bats itself. Actually, we cannot do the prediction with whether the risk high or low and so on. So in this case, we cannot conclude that our fruit bats actually giving us a higher risk on that.
Interesting.
They give, I mean, on that note, they actually give us much more ecosystem services, like maintaining a lot of our ecosystem around us compared to they actually the risk of they actually giving us the virus itself.
Okay, doctor, thank you for the insight. Well, the question is to both doctors. May I know what are the differences between the Keluang man and Batman and their scientific differences?
Okay, first, Keluang Man. Keluang Man is a cartoon. Do you mean a Keluang Man? Keluang Man and what? The what?
Batman.
Oh, Keluang Man and Batman, both of those are mammals, but they are both humans and they are both character. I mean, in this case, we're talking about like the scientific differences in fruit bats and the we only have in Malaysia, we only have one family of fruit bats, which is a Petripodidae. We have 9. So one is a fruit bat of plant visiting bats, which is most of them is only one genus that use the tongue clicking of the echolocation. The rest is using the eyes, and they are really good. Some of people they thought, are they blind? They're not. They actually, you need to think this. They are fly at night looking for food, looking for the right food, and they can go like straight away without a torch to that fruit. How awesome is that? How awesome is the eyes, you know? And like that's the difference, scientifically different from the rest of the group, the other 9 family, which is the one that eat insect. They are able to use their larynx to do the echolocation. So either they have other unique character that they can see, use the eyes, and also use the ears as well. So that's the scientific difference.
Well, okay, doctor, thank you so much. Well, we have a question from Joey. Good evening, Dr. Marina and Dr. Juliana. I'm Joey Tang from UPM KB. Thanks for the wonderful talk. I have a question for Dr. Marina. Doctor, is there any bat species that are endemic or of conservation concern in Malaysia?
Okay, all right, thank you, Joey. I think about the endemic species, Dr. Julie is more more working on this type of endemic species, right, Dr. Julie?
So we do have the endemic species. UPMKB, meaning KB is Kota Baru, or what is KB?
Oh, Bintulu
Oh,
Sarawak.
Bintulu, Sarawak. So actually one of our endemic species is in Sarawak, which is Hippocedarus coxi. If you look at it, it's actually endemic to Malaysia and actually found in Sarawak only. So that's one of the example. And with the conservation concern, actually, quarter of our bat species actually is unlisted under the IUCN as having some kind of conservation concern status. So basically, if you look at it, around 35 species that have those kind of status.
Well, thank you, doctor, for the explanation. Well, we have another question also. Can doctor share about any unique bat species that you have encountered in your research? This is for both the doctors. So yeah.
Okay, I think I mentioned first line, Dr. Julie.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, right now, me and my team in UPM, UPM Serdang campus, we are now looking in detail about the Hipsugo macrotis. Yeah, that one is a data deficient species. And then it's only be recorded in a few locations. And then we are now trying to report, do in detail observation about the behaviors, about the reproductive seasons, and then actually why I focus on this species, because firstly it's roaming around Asasi, our center, our foundation center, and then because its status in data deficient, I think it's very important for me and my research team to discover more about this species and can share the information for the benefits of the wildlife conservation and management. Yeah, that's for me. Okay, but maybe Dr. Juliana also can give her thoughts on some species.
Yeah, like when I first get call from Dr. Marina, asking like, oh, could you please confirm this species? I found it in like in my in UPM campus. I extremely jealous. It's because like that species it's rare, so that's why it's data division and actually roosting at UPM. Why didn't it my backyard? So that's one of the thing. So as mentioned earlier, for me, especially if you mentioned about the uniqueness of bats, because of the diverse of like how the feature, I mean the bat is the physical feature of the bats. I consider all bats are unique. So a lot of things that we not understand. Bats have all the leaflet in the face and so on, but we not understand like why they do have those leaflet and so on. So a lot of the uniqueness of the bats, it's still like uncovered, and we not really know much about it. So yeah, in this case, I actually extremely jealous and hoping that the Hypsogo macrotis will roosting at my university as well. We're not that far,
Bring some to UKM. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. It was actually quite informative and entertaining also. We'll proceed with Dr. Inda's question. So Dr. Inda stated that thank you to both speakers. Learned a lot today. This is for speakers in terms of movement. Do our local bats travel far or migrate between different countries within the region? And any evidence or study reporting interaction between bats and birds? Just curious as people are talking about H5N1 in migratory birds. Thank you.
Oh, so I'd probably answer this. About the migrate. So migratory for bats, we didn't call migratory bats. The reason is because usually when they migrate is because they actually try to escape from the extreme weather in their area. In our tropical bats, we don't have that problem. So in the case, there is no, basically not the definition of how they migrate is not as similar as birds, because birds go much more long distance than actually bats. But however, we do, I mean, bats, our bats, we do have evidence of bats actually cross border, especially during the fruiting season. So in the case of the flying foxes, because they are big and they have more energy and fly much more long distance compared to like a smaller size. So in the case of flying foxes, we do have our southern species. For example, the one in the like Johor state area migrate into Indonesia, in Sumatra, during the fruiting season and actually come back, and so on with the similar with the one at the north, which they actually migrate from Malaysia to Thailand and then come back. It's depending in the fruiting season. So any relation to transmission of the disease? So because of how the distance of the bat itself, there is no evidence so far of how these long distance bats cross border that actually help mediate in terms of the disease separation. However, for the case of birds, it's different because birds fly much more longer distance, and in the case of H5N1, so that actually the disease, the virus that live in birds. As before, the one that we mentioned earlier, some of the viruses probably host for the bats. The one that hosts in the bats and the other kind of animals is different. So why we interested more in the viruses that in bats is because they are mammals like us. The potential of the transmission is much more higher, because like in order for the virus to actually jump into a different host, meaning like from the from the bats into human, it's actually they need to evolve. A lot of evolution happen, adaptation and evolution, and the virus itself need to be really intelligent. If you want to become intelligent, become a virus, because they are repeatedly evolve all the time in order to able to actually change the host. So that's the thing. So if they are from birds, which is a different class, to us, they need to do more effort in terms of do the change of all sort of stuff. So compared to if they already based at the same class mammal. So that's why how it actually it's difficult for us to see the relation between this carried disease by birds compared to by mammals.
Thank you, Dr. Juliana. Dr. Marina, you would like to add some on this?
I think Dr. Judy have explained it well, very detailed. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Doctor. Well, after this, I think that we have a question from YouTube. So it's from Hector Gonzalez. So he said that, good evening, doctors. I have a question. Is it economically beneficial to integrate bats in fruit or vegetable farms? Or are they too dangerous due to the zoonotic diseases that they may carry?
All right. So in terms of the transmission disease, as I mentioned earlier, so all bats need intermediate. I mean, what we see so far, most of the how the diseases get transmitted, they need the intermediate host. So if you I mean, comparing to like what ecosystem services that bats can provide. So actually much more beneficial to the bats. I mean, if you want to use bats as one of the economic intermediator compared to like the risk that they may carry, it's because all the risk it's reduced by need of intermediate hosts. So that's one of the answer that I can give. And another thing is to make it much more easier. So basically what we need to focus here is to the virus, it's not to the bats. It's because all the outbreak, it's happened because of the virus, it's not because of the bats. I mean, the virus, the outbreak, usually what happen is when they try to go outside from the body of the host. So if you actually provide suitable environment for the virus itself, it's no need for them to actually happen to like go outside of the host itself. It's because you pressuring the host. At the same time, the disease, the virus itself need to do something. You know, that is probably the potential of the virus recognizing that the host actually stress out. So what I'm saying is, because of all these land use changes, the host probably don't have the harmony in terms of the relation with the virus itself. So they are like, for them, if they're able to like stay in the host without any prediction of they being died, it's because like before, like I mentioned that because of this all land use change, because of the urbanization, the chances of the bat diversity will be low. So that is what actually the virus viewing it as well. The chances for them to lose the host is much more higher. So what I'm saying is here, if you save the bats, at the same time, you're saving the whole thing that probably affecting us as well. So if we reduce the interaction, so meaning like if we leave the bats as it is and no interaction with us, the chances for us to get that emergent disease is much more lower. That is what I try to say. So in here, as we already from the ecology of how they benefit the ecosystem, we already know that, already proven. We have some evidence from our research and so on, like how they actually provide ecosystem services, especially in the economic benefit. So definitely that we already like ace on that. So if you can happen to like do this correlation, that probably is on that. So I mean, in contrast for the risk, so we know the risk that we actually overcome right now is about the outbreak. We try to navigate all this outbreak, but actually we not really need. We just need to probably prevent the transmission. That is the only thing that I can think of.
Thank you, Doctor.
Hi, Doctor. To both Dr. Marina and Dr. Juliana, good evening. I'm Nick Nadia from One Health Club. So my question is for both doctor, which is Dr. Marina and Dr. Juliana. My question is, can we plan for like an excursion for to some places, like for example in Langkawi, they have Flower Cave or Datai Bay or any places for a field trip to learn more about the bats in the field in order to appreciate their behavior in nature, or if you have any programs that you would like to share or to open for the community, especially the youth. Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Julie have a lots of activities with youth, with students, right? To the Langkawi area, to your center.
Okay, so actually here in Malaysia, we do have what we call Malaysia Bird Conservation Research Unit. And that actually the group that before is really active in do the awareness program for the bats. However, as we actually move forward, we actually become a bigger group, a bigger part of what we call the CB crew, which is the Southeast Asia Bat Conservation Research Unit. So actually it started from Malaysia, and we actually integrate that to the Southeast Asia. So a lot of activity, there is a lot of resources that we actually been practices use for all different ages to promote the bat awareness program. So that is one. So you can either contact me if you're interested in working or in doing some activity with the Malaysia Bat Group or the Southeast Asia Group. We actually have those opportunity. And also, as I'm the head of the center of the research center in Langkawi, that is one of the product, because like Langkawi is a geopark, and one of the product that we suggest to the community is to open the bat cave in order at the same time to use it as a ecotourism product, and and also the mitigation for awareness program as well. So that is a program that you can solidly use in for basically for working only for understanding the bats and getting the bat awareness. That is also program by the community celebrating the Bat Appreciation Day and so on, that all the community can join. And also we have program upon request by the group. A lot I mean UPM group is quite active, especially the veterinary group. There is a few groups, and also the community group in Penang, in Habitat and so on. So they do have a lot of requests as well. We do have a few module for and program for different ages if you request under the group, the Malaysia Bat Conservation Group.
Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Marina, do you have any programs that you would like to share for this question?
Okay, for the time being is actually when I in UPM actually we collaborating with the faculties. For example, the Faculty of Science, yeah. But then it's more to the school children student. Yeah, the activities like the Camp Professor Chile. So we open the participation for the students. And then in my part, it's actually not only bats that I will give information and then give the students opportunity to handle the bats, yeah, in proper handling. But also the other wildlife, the other fauna, such as the anurans and frogs and toads, not only for bats. So basically from the activities that I'm handling is with the Faculty of Science. Yes.
Good to know, Doctor.
Thank you.
We have another question from Sally Sazliana. This is for both the doctors. Is white bat or albino bat actually common in Malaysia?
What is it? Albino?
Yes,
Albino
albino
bats.
bat.
All right. So, bats, the albino, in animals, in mammal, and animal is a little bit different than the one that occurring in human. Actually, it's because probably it's have to do with the genetic in how much they actually mutate your gene that relate with the albinism. It's in human. I not really know much, but when we when the gene get mutate, we lose our basically our like a what is it? What they call the
Pigments.
pigment, yeah, the pigment. So in mammals, especially in bats, they probably have more a gene that relate to the albinism. So when it get mutate, some get like only partial mutation of the albinism, which is that actually not happening in human. So probably in different order will be in different. But in bats, they probably you can see probably in some patch of the area that get effect of the mutation of the albinism is not fully albinism in that case. So that is whether it's common or not. So the expression of the mutation of the albinism, it's different. And for bats, my prediction is because they have more gene that need to be mutated. It's much more. I mean, the full albinism, it's much more rare compared to like the effect on human. But I mean, when albinism happened, but there is I mean, because of the mutation, there is a potential. I mean, the frequency, whether it's much more higher or like how it happened and so on, with the genetic stress will be contributing to that. I'm not really know. Or the environment, genetic environmental factor also, I not really know. Because like some, they probably say that, the smaller the gene pool, the possibility that you will get the albinism, like the one that live in the small genetic pool, the chances is much more higher. But in bats, we not really know.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Well, we have our last question today. So the last question is from Kwang Yi, our director of this program. So this is to Dr. Marina. Good evening, Dr. Marina. Thank you for the informative talk. Could you share a memorable or surprising discovery from your fieldwork that changed how you view bat ecology?
Oh, my experience. The memories is so many. Yeah. Actually, first of all, I would like to thank my supervisors, right? Julie, our same supervisors, Professor Dr. Zubair Akbar Akhtar. He is the one who actually give the opportunities to us to know more, to love these cute little creatures. For us, actually, we say like that, cute, very unique characteristic they have. But some of you might be say that, why, right? To see the face of the bats also like a horror. But then for us, this is a very unique creatures. Actually, for me, because during my master's degree, I'm doing the reproductive research, bats reproductive systems, and then what I discovered is actually this is my experience, because I because study in reproductions of bats is not easy. Um, you have to you have to kill some of the bats, right? To know more about the reproductions system inside the male and female. But then, yeah, for the purpose of education, knowledge, we found that the bats is actually they are very precious. They, as I mentioned to you, they just giving birth to 1 to 2 pups a year. And then for the insectivorous bats, the males and females is very synchronized to each other, especially for the hormones levels. And then, actually, my experience, because I'm doing the study in the caves, then we study I study about the Hippocidorus, Hippocidorus. I think all bats actually give a lot of things that a lot of information that we need to know. We need to know because of their roles, very important roles that they give to the our ecosystem. And then I love all of the bats actually. And then one more thing actually I would like to highlight. As I think some of you, or when you go back to kampung kan, or your hometown, or at your urban area also, sometimes you encounter the bats kan, at your house, right? Or the trees nearby your house. As Dr. Juliana said, just let them alone, right, Dr. Juliana? Dr. Julie, let them at their what we call that, in their world. Do not disturb them. Please give separate life for them to enjoy. And then do not disturb it. And then please give love and care to the bats itself. And then you just watch them every, actually, I love to watch the view when they comes out from the roosting area, from the roost, and then come out during what exactly, actually we observe exactly around 7:20, like that, 7:15 to 7:20. So you can go in front of the library. Actually, you can sit there and then you can watch the very beautiful view. The bats going out from the big palm tree there. So please, you go there. bring your friends zoological, and then you have a nice view with yeah, I think that's my experience in bat study, in bats research.
Wow, Doctor, very valuable experience. I hope we all could experience it one day. And yeah, we'll definitely plan a trip over there in the near time. Well, I think that's the last question for our webinar. And I would like to give a heartfelt thank you for our amazing speakers today, Dr. Marina and also Dr. Juliana, for sharing their expertise with us, and also to Dr. Noor Indah for her support from the beginning for our program. And thank you to all participants to make this program a success. And whether you came for the science, the myths of bats, or just to hang out, we hope you are leaving with a greater appreciation for our winged friends. So, let's now take a group photo to remember this event. Please turn on your cameras if you're comfortable and get ready to smile. Zulaika, maybe you can stop sharing the screen. Okay, so we'll do a countdown. 1, 2, 3. One more. Smile, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you doctors for giving your insightful experience and also your thoughts on today's webinar's topic. Hope we all had a good time. And now we'll be moving on to the merit session and also the e-certificate session. So we will actually, for UPM students who are willing to claim merit, you must fill out a Google form that will be shared in the chat box, and also the QR code will be shown on the screen. So the merit Google form will be open for 5 minutes. So please act quickly and make sure to enter your details accurately to ensure your submission is valid. We'll give everyone a moment now to complete the form. And also for the e-certificate session, the QR code for your e-certificates is now being displayed on the screen. Please scan the QR code or click the link in the chat. The QR code for e-certificate will be shown for 15 minutes, and also before the program finish, please make sure you fill in the form to receive your e-certificate, but the form will be open for 15 minutes after our program ends. So don't miss your chance to submit it. I hope there's plenty of time for you to submit the form. Every participant is required to scan and fill in the Google form to get your e-certificates. Once again, thank you all for joining us tonight. And let's continue to appreciate and protect the biodiversity around us, even the creatures of the night. So have a restful night ahead, and remember, bats matter. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Good night, everyone. Thank you also. Bye-bye.
Bye, Doctor. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Good night. Thank you, doctors. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Dr. Indah. Bye-bye, Dr. Julie.
Bye. Bye.